Welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at the Lexus LC500, a rather striking car that Lexus decided to build on the back of some positive feedback they got from one of their concept cars at the Detroit Motor Show about 8-9 years ago. I applaud them for it. I mean, it stands out from the crowd. It's a very distinct looking car. So this model, as tested, is £91,000 on the road. It comes with the Sport Plus pack, and that includes one or two extras that you get with it, not least the 21-inch wheels, which I think really suit the profile of this car. It also comes with the carbon fibre roof, like the way that the door handles present themselves to you on approach. We'll come back to the interior in a minute, but it is absolutely wonderful in here. It's a really nice place to be, and you get the carbon fibre tread plates as well as part of the Sport Plus pack. Let's have a quick look in the boot. It's 191 litres, so it's not the biggest boot in the world, but it is a 2+2, and the back seats aren't what you'd call big, so you could use them as auxiliary storage for the longer journeys. And as you can see, it's quad exhaust through here, so this is a fascia for the two exhausts that are on the inside, and that is the same on both sides. We'll get to the sound of this car on the drive along. It's a naturally aspirated 5-litre V8 and it sounds fantastic. But anyway, let's have a look at the interior. So let's have a look at the interior of the Lexus LC500. Now I think it's really nice in here. It's a very comfortable place to be. These sports seats do a fantastic job. They're fully electrically adjustable. I quite like the red on black layout in here, although, you know, other options are available. So let's jump on inside and have a closer look. And there's plenty of storage space in the doors there. You can get your hand gel and your mobile phone in. There's another storage centre in the middle here, and that's got your charging points for your mobile phone. And that just shuts away quite nicely. It's all really nicely laid out in here, I think. Glove compartment is electrically operated. It's quite deep, you know, get your handbook in there and all that sort of business. But let's have a look at what it's like when you start her up. You get that lovely V8 growl straight away, and it all lights up quite nicely in here. We'll have a quick flick between the driving modes. So they're changeable on the top here, so you can flick between Sport, Sport Plus, and then back down to Comfort and Eco are available in there. And there's a number of options that you can cycle through in here as well, for range, what gear you're in, all that sort of thing. Nice metal gear changes as well, and the steering wheel. If you like a chunky steering wheel, you will like this car. There's plenty of easy usable options to be had on there as well. So onto the layout here, so you can control most of the heating and stuff from here, and it's all very nicely laid out here. I like the analog clock as well. I think that's a nice touch. The only thing that lets it down really is how you use the infotainment system. It's all done via this mouse pad, and it is not the most intuitive thing to use. Had it a week now, I've not really got to grips with it. The sat nav as well isn't a strong point of this car, but you know, it does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you know, there are ways around that sort of thing. I think it'd take you quite a while to get to grips with the infotainment system, unfortunately. This is a 2+2, but as we'll see, there's not a great deal of space in the back there. It's more auxiliary storage than anything else. There's a subwoofer in the back there. Should mention the Mark Levinson audio at this stage, because I think it is one of the best audio systems I've heard. I know I was bigging up the Bowers & Wilkins system in the McLaren GT in the previous review. Check that out on the YouTube channel. But this Mark Levinson audio system is absolutely superb. It adds 13 speakers to the car. I think it's a £1,000 option on the car. I mean, if you're getting one of these, I mean, that is a must tick box. So yeah, everything in here is really nicely laid out. It's a very comfortable place to spend quite a lot of time. You'd be very happy cruising around in this. There's quite a lot of Alcantara leather here, so if you're ever stressed, stuck in traffic, you could just stroke that and relieve your stresses away. Same with the roof lining, is covered with that as well. So yeah, this is all in all a really, really good layout in here. It's a nice place to be. So what is the Lexus LC500 like to drive? Well, we will start with its engine note. Naturally aspirated 5-litre V8 sounds fantastic, and that really is the unique selling point of this car. They haven't tried to out-German the Germans, Lexus, with this. They've not gone for a twin turbo, anything like that. They've gone for the dying breed, naturally aspirated 5-litre V8, and for that I applaud them, because it sounds fantastic. fantastic. Now the trade-off versus some of the competition is a bit of lack of oomph off the line. The stated 0 to 60 time in this is 4.7 seconds, so you know, it's no slouch, but you know, it's also not as quick as some of the other cars around it. But what you're getting is that sense of theatre, that sound from that V8, and I think it is fantastic. And it's also, when you get it out on the motorway, there's plenty of mid-range power to play with here as well, so you're not found wanting in that environment. And for me, that's why I'd consider this car to be a GT. I think it's far more at home on the longer journey in that motorway environment. It's really smooth, it's really comfortable, and it's just a pleasure to drive. You've got all your driver aids, you've got blind spot assist, you've got adaptive cruise control, you've got adaptive head beams, and the sports seats that come with this are really, really comfortable as well. And I've been driving for a couple of hours now, no backache whatsoever. So if I was going to do a longer journey, say London to Leeds, I'd happily jump in this for 4 hours and I'd feel fresh as a daisy when I got there, and I'd happily drive it straight back again. So in that environment, it's great. So that leads you to question why you'd buy this car. If you want to do a bit of B-road bashing, go as fast as possible, then this isn't really the car for you. It's not that engaging to drive. You don't get any feedback really through the steering wheel or the pedals. The focus and the emphasis of this car is very much on comfort, accessibility and ease of use, and it comes up trumps on all of those fronts. It's really, really easy to drive, and it's quite easy to get to grips with as well. I mean, the only downside in here really is the infotainment system, which is a bit of a struggle to get your head around, but I think, you know, after extended use you might even start to get to grips with that. So really, you're using this if you're doing the longer journeys all the time. That's where you get it. And also, we'll sign off on that engine note one more time. Because I promise you that will put a smile on your face every time you do it, and that is why you buy one of